Hello, everyone, and welcome to part one of the course. Part one I'm calling The Individual and Reality, and it consists of two texts we'll be reading over the first 2 weeks of the course. The first part is just selections from the Bhagavad Gita and an essay written by Aldous Huxley, the English writer in the 1950s, called The Doors of Perception. It is a rather, perhaps, eccentric way of beginning, but I have my reasons for doing it. Let me just to explain a little bit. I think that one of the fundamental questions of philosophy, no matter what part of the world or what civilization, the philosophy of what culture, perhaps the most essential question of philosophy is the question: what is real? What is real? What is the nature of reality? So many other questions are connected with that question. And I think that that is a question that every philosophy course, introductory philosophy course especially, should ask or introduce or look at. That question is an interesting question in itself, but it can seem rather academic, and that's okay. We're in the academy. We're doing a college course. We're in academics, but it is also a question that can be asked on a very personal level, or at least a more personal level. And that's what I've attempted to do in my selection of these two readings, the Bhagavad Gita and the Doors of Perception. We have a confrontation with reality on the part of two human beings. One is Arjuna, the character in the Bhagavad Gita, the great warrior. The other is an English intellectual writer in his 50s, or maybe 60s by this time. Yeah, he's in his 50s, living in California and taking mescaline, the psychedelic drug. Very different, obviously, but some sort of connection. That is, both of them are confronting reality in a way that they've never had to before, and dealing with a very changing notion of reality, really an epiphany. An epiphany is coming to this point where one's eyes are opened and one sees that everything that one took for granted before is in question by this revelation of a new world, or at least a new aspect of the world. The great warrior Arjuna is about to fight in a battle and has deep questions about the morality of what he's doing. And in response to his despair and refusal to fight, the incarnation of the god Krishna reveals some things to him about reality, which he has to deal with. This new insight into reality provided to him by the god. Huxley has an older man who's lived a long time and has settled notions about the way things are, and then he, as an experiment, takes this drug and is introduced to a whole new idea of what reality contains. And if it were, if it were just taking a drug, it wouldn't be very interesting, would it? I mean, it's what he would call a visionary experience, or a travel into the antipodes of the mind, things like that, where something is truly to be discovered. So both the Bhagavad Gita and the Doors of Perception have some very definite philosophical things to say about the nature of reality, but they're also personal, individual. They are accounts of histories of a human being having an encounter with reality. So they are both have philosophical content, but they are also maybe hopefully more relatable because they're about individuals asking deep and perhaps troubling philosophical questions and having to deal with them. So that's why I call the first part of this course The Individual and Reality.